Hey, this is Ryan from G&B Fitness. Today, I'd like to share a front lever tutorial with you. There's many different ways to train towards the full front lever. But over the years, whenever I come back to train the front lever, I find myself using these 4 movements and training them in this way. I've just found this to be very efficient. And with awareness for each movement and what you're doing when I show you these progressions, you'll find that you'll probably have great success with this because it's really pretty simple. The main thing with the front lever is to make sure that you're locking out your arms and that you're pulling your arms down towards your hips in every progression that you're working on. As well, the body position in this, ultimately we're working up to having our legs fully extended and together out in front without arching our back. So in the very beginning, focus on making sure that you're pulling your shoulders down and back when you're performing the front lever, pulling the arms towards your hips and not cramping and pulling your chin forward. Imagine that you're placing your head on a pillow, but you're not pulling it back hard. You don't want any discomfort in your neck. Now, when working in each progression that I'm going to be showing you here in this video, I want you to just be aware of what's going on in your body. You're going to be focusing on a slow negative where you're lowering your body, going through the movement. As well, I'm going to ask you to pause in the middle of the movement and hold for about 3 to 5 seconds. That might not seem like a very long time, but spending diligent time working on those 3 to 5 seconds is probably going to be plenty for you to be able to move on to the next progression of the front lever. Like anything, take time doing this. As I mentioned before, be aware of what's going on in the movement and enjoy the process. Be sure to check out our full article on the front lever as well as the back lever. You're going to find in that back lever video that you can find the link here that the progressions are very similar, and the concept I'm going to be sharing with you here in this front lever also applies to the back lever. Now, before we get into the actual videos of the front lever, there are 2 movements that I really suggest that you work on if you've never worked on the front lever before. And the first one is the pulling prep. This is simply where you are hanging from either a bar or a pair of rings. And all you're going to do is focus on pulling your body upwards from a dead hang, where you're just pulling your shoulders down. Your legs are still dangling below your body, and you just want to focus on this action with both arms. That's the pulling prep. The second thing that I suggest is perform that pulling prep and then focus on being able to pull your body so that your legs are above you in the inverted position. So those are the first 2 things I really suggest that you focus on being able to do comfortably before starting work on the front lever. The first position that we're going to look at is the tight front tuck. Now, this tuck position is very important in the beginning because it's going to give you a good feel for that core activation when you're lowering yourself down into the dead hang. Be sure to spend plenty of time working on this and get very comfortable and be aware of what's going on in your body when you're performing this tuck position. You'll want to pull the arms down towards the hips as you lower yourself. When you're comfortable with that, then it's time to move on, pausing in the middle position. So this is where you're going to be in that tuck position, but you're going to be performing a front lever variation. Again, you're pulling your arms down towards your hips, focus on that nice tight tuck, holding for about 3 to 5 seconds before lowering into that full dead hang. Next up, you're going to slightly open up that tuck. Now, in this video, Eduardo has a very nice open tuck. That's what we're working towards. The very beginning doesn't mean that you need to open up as much as Eduardo has demonstrated in this video. Slowly, gradually work on increasing that range of how you're opening up the tuck. You're going to go from that inverted hang, slowly lower yourself down to a dead hang. When you feel very comfortable, then you're going to stop. You're going to hold in the middle portion of that negative, holding for about 3 to 5 seconds, gradually working on increasing the range at which you're opening up the tuck. Your next position is going to be the straddle. Now, the cool thing about the straddle is the wider you straddle, the easier it's going to be. And so in the very beginning, focus on straddling as wide as possible work on this progression where you're lowering yourself to the dead hang, and then you stop in the middle, holding about 3 to 5 seconds in that wide straddle. You can gradually decrease the amount that you're opening your legs for that straddle. And as you do that, remember, it's all about pulling the arms down towards the hips, sitting back, keeping the head on that soft pillow, being aware of what's going on throughout the movement. We've now come to the fourth and last position. Yes, only 4 positions, that's it. And this last one is where you'll do the full front lever. When you start working on this, you might find that you're piking slightly. It's perfectly fine. You can gradually work on opening up that pike, but remember, you're not arching the back when performing the front lever. So as you lower yourself, you want to spend more time focusing on the negative, the lowering portion of this. So because this is the full front lever, you might find that you'll have to spend a lot more time just on that negative portion. That's a good thing. Gradually working to be able to hold 1, 2, 3 to 5 seconds in that middle portion of the full front lever. All right, so that's it. Might have surprised you to see that there were only 4 positions in this tutorial. As I mentioned before, there's many different ways that you can train the front lever, but I found this to be, at least for me and the people that I train, one of the most efficient ways to do it. It's a matter of being aware with each position, being real, putting that ego aside and saying, okay, I need to spend more time in this position, focusing on the lowering portion before I start to hold it. Or even just sticking with that one progression, maybe it's that open tuck, spending more time with that. What you can do is you can start off that day at the highest level that you can work out. Let's say that you've worked up to being able to do a straddle hold. Perfect. What you can do is work on that straddle hold that for 3 to 5 seconds, do a few rounds of that, if you will, and then you can work back through the lower progressions. So that way you're getting a lot of volume in, you're focusing on good, solid technique, and also getting stronger so that you can work up towards that full front lever. All right, so once again, please check out the article that we have on the front and back lever. Be sure to watch that back lever video as well. And leave a comment. Also, please subscribe because we have tons of other great videos for you to watch.